Hi everybody, Stefan here from EDC Austria, and today I wanna show you the Zero Tolerance 0393. To talk about the 0393 I have to go back until 2016 when Zero Tolerance released a bunch of these knives. Those were the factory custom series, which was called 0392 in collaboration with Rick Hinderer. And these knives all cost between $400 and $450. They used actual Rick Hinderer hardware, and they were pretty hard to get because the shops that had them, and you could only order them if you lived in the United States, would open orders at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and some of the knives were gone within 1 or 2 minutes. And now actually, if you have one of those knives, I think there were 7 total, this is the purple black Warncliffe. If you have one in good condition, you can actually sell it for more than the asking price because they are pretty rare, and those people who have it don't really wanna part with them. And back then people actually said they shouldn't release so many of those because it gets boring, but then they asked Zero Tolerance multiple times in social media and emails and so on to make a production version of this knife, because the other one is called a factory custom, which was always very limited, and this is a regular production knife which still has a similar design. It's kind of the Rick Hinderer Maximus and the Eclipse from the design standpoint, and it's only priced at $240, while the other one was around $400 to $450 each, like I said before. And I was really wondering if they could bring the great quality of this factory custom over to a relatively cheap production knife, and I'm very positively surprised. Let's get over to the specs for a second. The blade length is 3.5 inches or 8.9 centimeters. The total length is 8.25 inches or 20 centimeters, and the blade steel used is 20 CV. 20 CV is one of the 3 super steels, together with the CTS 204P and the Böhler M390, that are basically identical steels, and in production knives and regular folding knives are currently the best steel you can get. And if you pay more than $200 for a knife, you shouldn't take anything less. So if you pay more than $200, you really shouldn't accept S35VN anymore, because you can now get these really great steels for the price of an S35 steel just 1 or 2 years ago. As for the blade shape, this is the Spanto blade shape that was coined by Rick Hinderer. And here, as you can see, it has a nice harpoon kind of swedge up there. And here it's also broken up to form the nice tip. The grind is very even and very sharp, so this cuts like a real devil. As always, it reads the model number, which is 393, Hinderer design, Kai USA, CPM 20CV, and here you have the serial number. Mine is 659. By the way, I had to pay $370 for mine to get it into Europe in a relatively safe fashion and get it fast. So this shows you the kind of price discrepancies that are going on between the US and Europe. We have here a full titanium handle, but with a G10 inlay. And this might also be a way where they saved some money, because if you compare it to the 392, which has only titanium, you can see that the titanium there is much thicker. So they kind of saved a bit with handle materials. But the action is fantastic. This knife runs on KVD ball bearings. It really deploys every time. And even for expensive knives, that hasn't been the case always in recent times. Sadly, I have to add. But I myself was a bit burned out on a bit more expensive knives. So last year the only knives over $100 that I bought were the Spyderco Para 3 and then the CKF SSE. But this year I finally found a knife that I really liked, and that's this one. I have my eye on a couple more, but this was the first that I really felt the need to have. You have here the typical Hinderer jimping, which is very actually usable, because if you press here some against it, it really won't move. It lies very good in your hand, no matter how you hold it. You have a Hinderer style pocket clip, and this isn't original Hinderer hardware you have here like it was with the 392, but you can exchange it for real Hinderer hardware. So this is compatible to actual Rick Hinderer hardware. And the knife is flat ground, and here it's coated in black on the straight part of the knife. Let's check the blade stock. It says here 3.94 millimeters, and the official specification from CT is 3.96, so that's very close to what they say it is. And of course my caliber might not be that exact. Of course the weight is important. Let's check out that. First, in grams we have 143.9, which really isn't too heavy in my opinion, which is 5.08 ounces. And this knife carries really well. You don't feel it in your pocket after a few minutes, and the pocket clip is reversible. So that's pretty nice for those of us who are left-handed, which I am not one of them, but it's always nice that they are thought of. The blade centering is perfect, but I've never experienced a CT where the centering wasn't totally perfect, and I have a bit more than 10 CT knives now. The only thing, this titanium handle isn't milled out at all, but I think it was already too thin to be milled out. Finally, before we go to the cutting footage, let's do some size comparisons. First, let's compare it to the 0392, which we already talked about, which seems slightly, well, I can't really tell. It seems to be about the exact same size, although I thought it was bigger. Now the channel favorite, the large in Cozy, which is slightly longer with the blade. Otherwise it's pretty identical, although I think it has a 3.6 inch blade. But with this knife, zero tolerance really didn't waste a lot of space with the handle, as it is just a bit longer than the blade. And finally here we have the Bestech Beluga, which is a bit of a smaller knife. The review for this one is upcoming. And so much for the size comparison. So with 3.5 inches blade length and 8.25 inches of total length, it's not too big a knife, but still big enough to fulfill its purpose as an all-purpose EDC knife. Now let's check out the cutting footage. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed that. For me, this knife is a definite recommendation, as it's really almost as nice as the 392 while only costing half of the MSRP and actually way less than half of the current prices that are asked. And it cuts very well and is full of premium components, so there's really nothing riding against it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you wanna be informed about future videos, please subscribe to the channel. It would be really important for me to get a few more subscribers, and also you will be informed about new videos in your subscription feed. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching and bye bye.